Coming up tonight on KSL Outdoors.
Yep, it's a walleye.
We head to Lake Powell to help the DWR with a walleye tagging study, plus
Crappie.
Whoa, you did it.
we'll target the other species in the lake, give you an update, and we'll show you the infestation of mussels at Powell.
I'm Adam Eakle, and this is KSL Outdoors.
KSL Outdoors with Adam Eakle is brought to you by your local Ford stores.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to KSL Outdoors. I'm Adam Eakle. Well, welcome to Lake Powell for this week. You know, we're down here following the Division of Wildlife Resources. They're having a team building management meeting, but they're also discussing some of the issues they're facing down here at Lake Powell. First and foremost, on the downside is the mussels. They are back and they are stronger than ever. I have never in all my life imagined that they would have taken over this lake as fast as they have. On the bright side though, the fish are spawning, the bass are on beds, the walleye are hungry. We're hoping to catch some fish, and we're hoping to tag a few of those walleye as well.
Fishing with Wayne Gustaveson, the fisheries biologist at Lake Powell, is always a treat.
Oh my goodness, that's looking good.
We had one of my favorite fishing trips of the year chasing striper boils in Good Hope Bay.
Got it.
Got him? Nice.
Right there. I don't know, that was probably within 8 feet of the boat. That's pretty close.
Today, our target is walleye in the same area.
We found a colored water spot so that we can actually have equal chance to catch many different kinds of fish. We're first going to select walleye, and if we catch some walleye, then we're going to put a tag in them, let them go, and see if we can understand where those fish travel.
I think we caught them over here the other day, so let's go get them.
Fish on! No, it's coming in like a walleye. Walleye is good.
It's the one time I'm going to allow you to bring a walleye into my boat and not put it in the dead well.
Let's see, we got tags.
We got tags.
So today we're just deploying pit tags. Essentially the idea behind the pit tags is it's increasing the chance that someone is going to detect a walleye if they are indeed moving up into the river.
Kind of as the easy explanation, if anybody has a pet, these are the same things that go in pets for like the Home Again network where you can track them later on. What we're going to do is just inject right under here so that it's protected.
What's the concern of walleye in the river? I mean, they're in the lake. What's the problem with them in the river?
So there are 4 endangered species in the Colorado River, and the walleye are really deterring the numbers of reproduction for these native species. And so that's the concern. These species aren't growing to maturity, therefore they can't reproduce, and that is due to non-native species such as the walleye.
That is one lucky walleye.
It is. You have been in Adam Eakle's boat, and you live to swim another day. All right, let's do another one.
There's a walleye.
In addition to these internal pit tags, biologists will attempt to capture more walleye this fall and affix sonic tags to those fish. Sonic tags are easier to detect than pit tags. Walleye with pit tags must be recaught. Sonic tag fish do not need to be recaught.
There's a walleye.
We have sonic arrays and hydrophones up in the river that will detect the sonic tags. So the idea is if we don't detect any in 2 years, they're probably not moving up into the river, or we need to explore other options.
And the pit tags are just reinforcing that.
Yeah, essentially just increasing the detection rate if they are moving up.
Walleye are found lake-wide, but higher concentrations are noticeable in the upper reaches of the lake.
He actually took a little drag. This might be bigger than 12 inches.
We found our best walleye fishing north of the restrooms at the entrance to Good Hope Bay.
Okay, we were right off the edge of that point.
In stained water from 20 to 40 feet deep on main channel points and humps.
Come on, be big. Walleye.
Walleye, nice one.
He saw the net and didn't like it. Oh, nice fish. Come on, buddy, get over here. Net job.
5.
Our best technique today was dragging a single-tail grub on a 1/4-ounce jig head tipped with a chunk of nightcrawler.
Misty.
But you can catch them throwing a worm harness or throwing cranks in the shallows in the mornings and evenings.
There we go. Yep, it's a walleye. It's a nice one.
Ooh. Awesome.
Coming up,
It's a jumping walleye. Nope, it's large, smallmouth.
we'll target some of the other species in the lake. But first, let's check out this week's climate quiz question. Long before the Colorado River was dammed to form Lake Powell, Everett Roos, a 20-year-old American artist, poet, and writer, known for his solo explorations of the deserts of the American Southwest, disappeared in 1934 in the Escalante drainage. Everett's 2 burros that he had as pack animals and the corral he had made at his campsite were the last ever known trace of Everett. His disappearance remains a mystery today. Our climate quiz question is, what canyon in the Escalante River drainage was Everett's campsite and burros discovered in? Now, once you know the canyon name, log on to our KSL Outdoors Facebook page, give us the correct answer, we'll then randomly select and announce a winner on our page the following week. The winner, set to walk away with a Climate Static V sleeping pad. Climate, comfortable, rugged, and lightweight. KSL Outdoors, powered by Ford, will be right back to fishing Lake Powell.
KSL Outdoors is also brought to you by Smith & Edwards, Fish Tech Outfitters, Utah State Parks, Burt Brothers, Climate, King's Camo, and Camp Chef.
I think I've got a fish. Big crappie, big crappie. Whoa,
Well done, Wayne.
there's a lot of big fish left, but right now we're not having real good success with spawning because there's no brush. When the little fish swim up, they look for a brush to hide in. If it's not there, they don't survive as well. So it might be a bad year for reproduction, but right now we've got a really good population of this size crappie. I always go to the back of the canyon between 12 and 25 feet and look for brush and trees. Now, if that's not there, then you just have to randomly cast, still in the 12 to 25 foot deep areas with a little bit of colored water. That's the best spot to find them. So you can troll for them, you can cast for them. A little tiny 1/8 ounce crappie jig works as good as anything.
Crappie. Good crappie.
Whoa, you did it.
Yep, slam.
Awesome.
Boy, aren't they just beautiful here? And that's kind of average to small. He's going in the dead well, don't tell Wayne.
I'll open the door for you. Which one is it? Yeah, you know what tastes good, don't you?
Yeah, that and walleye are hard to let go.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty nice crappie. Lake Powell, great place to come catch some really nice slabs. Great eating fish, fun to catch. I mean, look at those. There's not many places around the western United States you can go catch this nice a crappie.
Nice slab. Hey, he's okay. Not as big as that last one.
No, one I lost. The one you lost was a heck of a lot bigger.
Yeah, it was.
Fish on.
Another readily available fish this time of year
Whoa, big bass.
is the largemouth.
Largemouth, yes, we need a largemouth today. Perfect.
That's a nice one.
Awesome. Bass are spawning at Lake Powell. They start late April, go through the first part of May, where we are right now. And once you see them, particularly in this clear water, we've got this unusual situation with crystal clear water. If you see this bass on a bed, mark the spot, come back in an hour, throw a very long cast to that spot, and you can catch one of these. Largemouth, like crappie, are struggling with not enough habitat right now, so these fish are spawning, but the young are not going to survive very well unless we can get the lake to come up a little bit and cover up some more brush. Then they have something to hide into. Right now they're doing pretty good in Lake Powell.
It's not a rock.
Smalley coming up.
The big smallie. Nice fish.
Lake Powell smallmouth are also doing extremely well.
Yeah, that's a nicer one.
Wayne says don't feel bad about taking home a limit of 20 smaller 9 to 12 inch smallmouth, but leave the bigger fish to reproduce.
Popped right out. So it's good that I netted him then.
So if you come down to Lake Powell, probably ought to let these go, or at least take just your limit. That one's going in the live well. That one's going back in the lake.
More from Lake Powell coming up. First, though, back to the guys at Fish Tech for tonight's fishing report.
Have you ever wanted to start bass fishing but have been overwhelmed by the number and types of lures? Let's simplify it. I'm Mickey Anderson from Fish Tech with this week's fishing report. Bass are structure oriented, and most of the time you're going to find them in rocks or in bushes. When you find them in rocks, the easiest lure to fish for bass is a crankbait. They've got a diving bill on it. The faster you retrieve it, the deeper they dive. On a steep shoreline, reel it fast. On a more gradual shoreline, reel a little bit slower. Curly-tail jigs are another way to go because these can be fished a lot slower in the rocks. Just put it on a jig hook and hop it down through the rocks. Now if you get into bushes, you're going to snag up these crankbaits, and you want to use a weedless lure like a spinnerbait. These can be pulled right through branches and bushes and you won't snag up. You can also use your curly-tail jigs with the weedless jig hooks and pull these right through the branches also. Our favorite way is with topwater lures, and the key to fishing a topwater lure is to leave it in the structure area as long as you can. Pop it hard and let it sit. Don't be in a hurry to drag this out. Hey, for these tips and a whole lot more, come on down to Fish Tech, we'll help you out. Now for tonight's fishing line.
Big old slab. Look at that. Help.
Pretty fish. So here's another very underutilized fish down here at Lake Powell. Bluegill. Even green sunfish are down here that are really nice size. These are great eating fish. They're a beautiful fish. And dang, they're doing good right now. And very few people come down here and catch bluegill.
What you got?
I don't know. Got something.
Look at those bluegill. Holy cow. Those are awesome. These guys are have a good chance to be able to eat some of the tremendous amount of quagga mussels that are around. And it's possible that they could do as good a job as any species of fish in consuming mussels, especially if they're very abundant. You're being really quiet with this one.
Big bluegill.
Oh my.
Lake Powell bluegill and green sunfish are as big this year
Just slabs.
as I've ever seen them.
That you or fish? I can tell.
That's a spinner.
There it
Or
is.
bluegill. It's a female bluegill.
Yep.
How can you tell? Just the color?
That big color change.
Coloration,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with fish, the pretty ones are the males. With humans, it's just the opposite. We have proof that they're eating mussels. We've opened stomachs and we found stomachs that way.
There he is.
It's just a matter of doing a
Another bluegill.
season-long study called a stable isotope study to be able to tell if they continually eat them or seasonally eat them or just when it might happen.
There's been talk of introducing the red-eared sunfish to Powell, commonly known as the shellcracker. Red-eared sunfish consume mussels and grow large, but are not as readily available to anglers as much as the bluegill.
Unfortunately, there isn't anything that's going to have a tremendous impact on mussels, but they might be able to stabilize the population, and if the sunfish got larger, it might be something that would enhance the fishery, when possibly we may lose threadfin shad and striped bass in the next decade.
If you haven't been down to Lake Powell lately, you are in for a big surprise. The entire lake is now infested with quagga mussels. The shoreline is littered with millions of decaying mussels. At Moki Wall, a 15-foot tall sheet of dead mussels lines the wall from one end to the next.
It's depressing. It's really sad. And, you know, this is why as boaters we need to make sure that we do our part, because if this gets into Strawberry, Bear Lake, Flaming Gorge, it's just going to turn into a nightmare for biologists and for us.
It's changed the aesthetics of the lake, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what it does to the fishery down the road. I'm glad I got to see Lake Powell before the infestation.
I think this trip in itself was very informative for me, actually seeing it, because it's one thing being on the defensive and trying to protect yourself from something you don't have and really haven't seen, and it's a whole nother to actually experience the effects and see what it's like.
There are some who say that we'll never stop the spread of quagga mussels to other bodies of water, and they might be right. But I don't want to be the jackwagon who ruins a lake in Utah. Do you? Time to head down a little sunnier trail in tonight's Utah Field Guide.
Okay, Cruz, where's the fish, man?
Come on!
Every year, special needs children from all over Utah County are invited to the King's Camel Free Fishing Day at Salem Pond.
15 kids the first time, and now today, 28 years later, we're 1,500 kids strong.
Volunteers are a big part of the party. The DWR supplies the fish, local businesses supply lunch, and volunteers help the kids catch a memory.
Caught a fish about that big. It's that big.
We enjoy seeing the smiles on their faces as they catch the fish, so they enjoy the outdoors and experience some of the natural resources in Utah.
My students look forward to Fishing Day all year long, and when they see it on the calendar in May, it's all they can talk about. It is pure excitement for them.
I've been here since kindergarten, like way back, and I think I look forward to this every year.
Organizers say the hope is to ignite a passion of fishing in these kids that they can use the rest of their lives.
You're gonna be my dinner. That's right.
It had to be 90 degrees today. It felt like July, not mid-May down here at Lake Powell. The 63-degree temperature in the water, pretty inviting. Hey, let's check that recreation forecast now by turning it over to the guys and gals in the weather department. Welcome back to KSL Outdoors, back here at Lake Powell. I'm Adam Eakle. Hey, a lot of things on the horizon. If you're looking for some ideas to get your family into the outdoors, like maybe Free Fishing Day, which is always the second Saturday in June, you can always check our outdoors calendar page on our website at ksltv.com. Other than those beautiful bluegill that we saw with those orange bodies, the old black crappie is pretty tough to beat for looks and taste. Hey, don't forget when you come down with your family and friends, take lots of pictures of your big catch, trying to exclude the mussels, and submit into our snapshot contest. You might win our big prize. See if you can beat Wayne's crappie there with this week's Snapshot of the Week.
We kick it off up at Strawberry just after ice-off with the Frank family. Kim and his granddaughter had a great fishing trip. Kim says while he was trying to get his granddaughter's rod ready, she landed 2 on his. Needless to say, the kid had bragging rights for the day. Hunting in the K family has always been a family affair. On this year's turkey hunt, they filled 3 of 5 tags by the second day. Colton says it was a great time spent with family doing what they love. This is the second turkey hunt for 11-year-olds Kaysen and Brecken, and they were successful once again. Both boys harvested their birds opening morning of the youth hunt. Cade says they spent the rest of the weekend camping, hiking, and scouting for more birds for the general opener. Dads ended up filling their tags opening morning as well. The Petros family took a ride down on the Pony Express Trail out by Dugway to get out in the fresh air and look for ponies, and they found them. These wild horses put on quite a show for the kids. But our winner tonight comes off a yearly family Yellowstone tradition. Eric Levy and his wife met their kids who were up at school at BYU, Idaho for the opening week at Yellowstone National Park. The family loves to watch wildlife and love the park this time of year because there are usually no crowds. This trip they found these grizzly bears having fun playing near the thermal hot pots. Eric says the steam from the pots made the bears look even more mysterious. Well, those are some hot shots there, Eric, worthy of our cool prize from Camp Chef for having the Snapshot of the Week. Remember, submit your pictures or video plus an explanation of your latest outdoor adventures online at ksltv.com. The winner each week wins the new Striker multi-fuel stove in King's Camo. Perfect for a car camp or to take on the hunt. Plus, the winner is also entered into our Ford Trucks quarterly Facebook giveaway for a Camp Chef pellet grill.
Build your outdoor kitchen with Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Well, we didn't personally in our boat capture and tag a lot of walleye, but there were a few caught.
Yeah, it was pretty steady.
Yeah.
Not super fast, but we had a magic temperature change from cool to hot.
It feels like July, doesn't it?
It does. It's hot.
I look at the quaggas and I keep telling myself it's still Lake Powell, even though I'm looking at a million right here in front of me.
When you look down at the ground, it's tough, but when you look out at the scenery, it's still Lake Powell.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you for taking me fishing.
Always fun. Hey, I'm Adam Eakle, KSL Outdoors, for my buddy Wayne Gustaveson, reminding you to get out with your family, your friends, and make some memories outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.